Build AI resilience, Japa in a smart way, or escape fraud. Which one they hit for your chest pass? Abeg, let's talk about it. But first, let me ask this question. Do you really believe that Africa is the future? Of course I do, because of our immense natural resources and because Africa has the youngest, fastest growing population in the world. Yet the world is moving at lightning speed and Nigeria, along with many African countries, is still playing catch up. So where do we really belong in this future? In the face of economic hardship, job scarcity, technological disruption, insecurity, poverty, and poor infrastructure, many young Nigerians are asking life or death questions every single day. For example, Emeka is asking, as AI is eating up jobs faster than we can graduate, what skills can I master today that will still pay me tomorrow without needing to code or have foreign papers? What about Abimbola? She don't tire, so she's asking, I want to Japa, but how do I relocate abroad intelligently and legally without ending up broke, exploited, deported, or even dead? On the other hand, Osage is asking a different question. 419 or Yahoo or fraud may seem like the fastest way to make money, but this also don't tight and prison is real. What alternatives deliver the same speed and 7-figure potential without ruining my life? With the Naira collapsing, borders tightening, and AI rewriting everything, the main question on the minds of many young Nigerians is, should I stay back and build an unbreakable future here in Nigeria, or Japa now before it is too late, and how do I even decide? These are the exact questions this channel was created to answer. Raw, direct, and no motivation fluff. Just the facts, the templates, the frameworks, and the success stories that turn desperation into destiny. Hi, I'm Dixon Esieba, the host of Sabi Press, where you can join me in my journey at the nexus of AI, migration, and fraud prevention. So it is going to be a fascinating journey, and I hope that this channel will help you navigate these times, show you the opportunities, and help you see how the world is changing around us. Let me start from the beginning by introducing you to the bright way ahead, which explains how and why I got here. So it was about a year ago I realized that the intersection of AI, migration, and fraud prevention creates a circle of improvement for African youth. By improvement, I mean ethical improvement for building future-proof lives, AI-resilient skills, and fraud-free hustles, whether we stay at home, migrate purposefully, or return stronger. There is really no time, because at the time of this recording, things are moving exponentially, whether it's robotics, blockchain, AI, organized crime, or evolving immigration policies. So, make we start this journey proper, so that we go fit speak the same language, understand ourselves, and see how everything take connect. We have already identified economic hardship as a common root cause of the problem. What we are going to do now is to break down the solution into essential ideas and tie them together in the Nigerian context, starting with fraud prevention and ethical resilience. It is no news that Nigeria is notorious for some of the most sophisticated cyber crimes in the world, and the rapid widespread of internet fraud, commonly referred to as Yahoo or 419 among the youth, is alarming. In fact, it has reached a point where security officials, parents and guardians perceive it as commonplace and show little or no tendency to address the issue, even when fully aware of the detrimental effects. Fraud is now celebrated. For many, it is all about the money, quick fixes, and survival. Although this phenomenon can be linked to the underlying socio-economic and political factors in Nigeria, such as poverty and corruption, which drive the youth towards such activities for survival, fraud is not a long-term solution, and it does not address the fundamental problem of a lack of marketable capabilities among a majority of young Nigerians. I am not judging anyone, but permit me to ask, besides scamming, what else can you do to deliver value? What are those things that you can sell or create to earn money from? In my opinion, the resources, persuasive skills, and technologies used to deceive others for their money are also the same ones that are used to create tangible products and services that solve real-life problems. The energy is the same, but flows in different directions. On one side, positive, the other, negative. So why don't you divert that energy into something legit? Something that positively impacts your life, your family, your community, and the world. Something that contributes positively to the new history that is being created. I understand this transition may not be easy, and you may be wondering how to approach it. You know you have the skills and the energy, but how do you redirect them? The solution begins with exploring your interests, identifying problems in those areas and trying to solve them. The good news is that the global playing field has been leveled by AI, the internet, and blockchain, for example. I bet you already know about these technologies, so why don't you use them to create tangible solutions? For this to work, an internal audit is needed, along with exploring unknown territories and skill development. This is why I have created a handbook called the Energy Flip Blueprint, which contains a practical roadmap and action steps to guide you. Check out the link in the description below to obtain it for free. But wait, for this framework to be effective, there are a few things you need to be aware of. The first is that regardless of your area of interest, you need to develop AI resilient skills. I am talking about human competencies that are difficult for current or future AIs to replicate, automate, or even perform as effectively as humans. These skills are often rooted in human-centered domains such as negotiation, conflict resolution, inter-ethnic and inter-religious collaborations, public speaking, UX design, and many more. Another important component of AI resilience is to understand how AI actually works so that you can leverage it effectively and avoid being replaced by it. The second point is to never overlook your mental health. In this journey, it is easy to feel isolated, which can be stressful. And if not managed properly, you may start to second guess your decision and fall into depression. So consider services like counseling, for example, to build resilience as you go about this transition. The third and final point is to look at success stories for inspiration. If you know any young entrepreneur in your area doing well, why don't you reach out to them? I am not saying that you should copy them. I am saying that you should emulate them. You should look at their successes and try to derive inspiration from them so that you can also do yours uniquely. If you use this framework combined with the tips I have just shared, you will soon realize that rewards like independence and global impact are achievable. Which brings us to the final concept: purpose-driven migration as a choice. Purpose-driven migration is a strategic choice, not an act of desperation like crossing the Mediterranean Sea from Africa to Europe or seeking asylum for illegitimate reasons. When backed with AI resilience and fraud-free hustles, it empowers the youth. It fosters local entrepreneurship, homegrown innovation and reduces the problem of brain drain and exploitation. I firmly believe that Japa is a good thing if done right. However, migration is not for everybody. As an alternative, you can start to innovate locally by using your tech and entrepreneurial skills to build products and services like apps for sustainable agriculture or fintech solutions for unbanked communities. This local innovation builds a solid foundation, creates jobs, and fosters economic growth. If you must migrate, view living abroad as an opportunity for growth rather than an escape, because this experience helps you to gain international exposure, send remittances back home, and make Nigerian proud. Think of it as an ambassadorship, because as a Nigerian professional, you will have the opportunity to showcase our cultural resilience and innovation, thereby challenging the negative stereotypes associated with fraud. But the migration cycle is not complete without returning home to foster development. The idea is to bring back expertise, investments, and ideas to uplift local communities. A fantastic example of someone who has done this effectively is John Abraham Godson, an author, a lecturer, and a former member of the Polish Parliament, who returned home to contribute meaningfully to the Nigerian agro-business sector after living and working abroad for many years. So, together, let's build a better Nigeria, a better Africa, one that is resilient and prosperous. While this video addresses the problematic and ethical angles, the goal for the foreseeable future is to build a community of like-minded individuals where we can share success stories and evidence-based strategies as well as ideas to help us stay on the bright way ahead. Until I see you next time, peace.